Summit 2022. It's a privilege to have Andrew from Control Plane. For me, it's been an honor since the invitation when we start the subject on Kubernetes. For us here in Brazil, we have a fantastic talk, and welcome, Andrew.
Thank you very much.
So what have you thought about Brazil, the audience, and how was your presentation? I thought for myself, but I'm gonna let you to explain to the audience. For our audience there, what was kind of the most impactful part of your, I can tell you one was the demo 4, which is the kind of the spray attack. Is that one? Yeah, so I pass to you now.
Thank you. It's been wonderful. Brazil is very welcoming and very open, and it's fantastic to be here. I didn't expect the monsoon, I have to say. This time of year I was hoping for a little bit of sunshine coming from London. And the food. The food has also been fantastic. I've really enjoyed the food being provided here as well. I found the audience very engaged. It was very nice to have so much obvious interest. At some points there was just a wall of phones when certain things were on slides. And from my perspective, I think I enjoyed the container breakout demo, because while many things are to do with misconfiguration and Kubernetes attack surface being declarative lends itself to scanning and to that static analysis, it's difficult to mitigate against kernel vulnerabilities, especially when we've seen TCP/IP stack issues and dirty pipe recently, dirty cow a few years ago.
Dirty pipes, yeah, that's the one, not the spray, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But please continue.
The nature of containers operating on a shared kernel and essentially emulating a process, whereas a VM maybe emulates the virtual machine BIOS bootstrap, the hardware underneath. Being able to demonstrate that difference where the kernel being relied upon for security has a vulnerability and the container exploit can then break out through it is my favorite way of saying to people, don't forget to deploy your applications along data classification lines so you can be sure in the event of a breach or vulnerability, only the data of the classification that you expect is exposed. So yes, I really enjoy this talk because of the nature of escalation from the supply chain, through the container, into the cloud account, and I think it went well.
No, definitely. I think
even
with certain surprises on the
exactly.
audio video, I mean the resilience was there, and actually the team of the event is being resilient, and I think this happened. But I think fantastic demo. I think the audience love it. You demonstrate from the attacking perspective, attack perspective, and also how it's happening from the host or the host that you're attacking. So it's fantastic to have you here. I hope you enjoy Brazil. I hope the people will see your presentation. I'm really pleased to have you here. I'm from London, but I'm Brazilian living there. So it's first time to have you here as well in Brazil. So it was an honor to be part of this first time challenge that I set for you and to present to our audience.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been my first time in South America. It's been on my bucket list since I was a teenager trying to escape from university. So yeah, I've had a fantastic time. People are very welcoming, and I've really enjoyed myself. Thank you.
Just the last question before you go. What is the biggest, or the first step for people that wants to start on the security on the Kubernetes, because it's slightly different, right? Environment. So it's, I will say, more complex, but in another way, it's more safe as well. If I compare like for like, there is no such a thing. 100% security, no technology at all. But what would you recommend people to try the first kind of step to start on Kubernetes?
The first step is to buy the book Hacking Kubernetes out in all good bookstores. Minimum viable cloud native security is using that container image to scan and to understand your attack surface. It's more useful with containers because we can know just what's installed as opposed to having to install multiple things for maybe a LAMP stack application or supporting services for multiple different applications on one virtual machine. So container image scanning is first, configuration scanning for misconfiguration is second, admission control, it is a really useful deep policy engine. So with those three things, we can get into a position where we understand our exposure, we prevent misconfiguration, and we help to prevent operator error.
that's all. No, thank you very much for for being in Brazil.
Thank you so much.